I, not events, have the power to make me happy or unhappy today. I can choose which it shall be. Yesterday is dead. Tomorrow hasn't arrived yet. I have just one day, today, and I'm going to be happy in it. Groucho Marx. Sue Davis will light the chalice here in the sanctuary. Those of you at home are invited to light your own chalice now. Thousands of candles can be lit from a single candle, and the life of the candle will not be shortened. Happiness never decreases by being shared. Buddha. Thank you, Sue. Before we sing the first hymn, let me remind our remote participants to leave yourselves muted. However, we want you and whoever is with you to sing along with us as big and loud as you like. Make it a joyous experience. Please stand in body or spirit and sing the opening hymn, Life Has Loveliness to Sell, number 329.
Has loveliness to sell, all beautiful and splendid things. Blue waves whitened on a cliff, soaring fire that sways and sings, and children's faces looking up, holding wonder like a god. Life has loveliness to sell, as music like a curve of gold, scent of pine trees in the rain, eyes that love you, arms that hold, and for your spirit still delight, holy thoughts that star the night. Spend all you have for loveliness, to buy and never count the cost. For one singing hour of peace, count a year of strife well lost. And for a breath of ecstasy, give all you have been or could be.
Good morning. Welcome to the Unitarian Universalist community of Cambria. We're glad you've joined us today. Our UUCC sanctuary sits on land that the Salinan and Chumash indigenous peoples historically inhabited. We honor their contribution to this region and give thanks for the opportunity to gather in faith on their unceded territory. Let us respect their legacy and protect their history as we occupy this sacred space. As Unitarian Universalists, we celebrate religious diversity and welcome all who journey in search of faith and spirituality. The UUCC is a lay-led congregation run by the democratic process. We invite speakers from different religious traditions and spiritual or scientific backgrounds to speak at our pulpit. We encourage presentations covering a variety of topics and areas of interest that connect us with the UU7 principles. Today's service centers around the sixth principle. We affirm and promote the goal of world community and peace with liberty and justice for all. My name is Andy Fagan, and I am pleased to be your worship associate for this morning's service. I'd like to extend a welcome to today's guests and visitors. We're glad you joined us this morning. If you wish, please raise your hand If you'd like to introduce yourself as a guest, in the back. Hi there, welcome. Welcome, welcome, welcome. If you're not on the mailing list, please visit the UUCC website at uuccambria.org so that we can keep you informed about all our activities. Members and friends, please check out What's Happening, the e-blast sent to you every week. This is a great way to keep up to date with our latest news. And if you wish to see this or any of our past Zoom services, the recordings can be found on the UUCC website and on Facebook. So again, good morning and welcome to everyone. The affirmation is both a recognition of the nature of this community as well as a promise to which we aspire. Let us now recite the UUCC affirmation. Love is the spirit of this church, and service is its prayer. This is our great covenant, to dwell together in peace, to seek the truth in freedom, and to help one another. We set aside this time for any special announcements that would be of interest to our UU community, members, and friends. Please keep your items short and to the point. If something needs more explanation, contact the person after the service. If you'd like to make an announcement, please raise your hand. When Randy or I call your name, please step up to the podium or unmute yourself online and then speak. I see hands. Judy, come on up.
This sounds like an Army announcement, but I'm looking for a few good men and women. On the 29th, we'll be doing a service called Remembrance of People Past. You know, we always hear that date or right around there is when the veil is so thin between the here and the there, wherever there is. And I'm looking for some people who are willing to make a short talk about someone that they've lost. It can be obviously sad, or it can be joyous. It can be even be funny. But let me know after the service and I'll put you down. Thank you.
Thank you, Judy. Dolores?
As you all know, picture day today, so stick around right after. We're gonna do one here, and then we're gonna attempt to do one outside,
All right.
or one of the places, we'll find out. Okay.
You are in for a real treat. October 21st, Saturday evening, right here in the sanctuary at 7 p.m., we have a special guest, a composer and a jazz pianist who's been nominated for Grammys. He's internationally renowned. Solo piano concert with Jasnam Dea Singh. You might remember he gave a talk here about Sikh. And he will be speaking on Sunday after the concert. But don't miss this concert, his contributions, and you're going to be blown away. Talk to me if you have any questions, and it'll be going out in the newsletter too.
I was at the Cambria Anonymous Neighbors meeting the other day, and I just want to alert everybody to your health wellness workshops. I'm going to post this over there. Free, walk your way to better health, and another one in November for fall prevention. If you know of anybody that is interested, I'll put it on the backboard.
Randy?
Good morning. This is just an alert that next Sunday, nothing will change here, but we will be doing an in-person service only because Andy and I will not be around and our backup crew will not be available either. So it's just going to be just like it was in the past, in service, in-house only. So all you folks out there in Zoom land, see if you can make it here to next Sunday. Right.
Mr. Gillingham. All right.
Well, this is a very scary announcement. There's going to be a Halloween costume party at my house Tuesday, October 31st. Joel told me I had to volunteer. So Costume party at my house, potluck. Everybody come, and most of you are probably already wearing your masks, so I'd like to see it.
Okay, Treva, please.
Okay,
unmute
Randy,
yourself.
anybody online? I think so.
Treva, unmute yourself and share.
Good morning, all. This is just an announcement from those of us out here in Zoom land that we can't see your slides if you have any. Thanks, guys.
Oh. Okay, can't see the slides. We'll work on that. Gulp. Anyone else online, Randy?
No, that's it. Back to you.
Okay, thanks. Next week, Mary Ann Anderson will present The Other You, Universalism, which is not written by Judy Butler. Judy Butler's sermon that Mary Ann will read for us. Okay. Joys and concerns. Sharing together some of our personal and significant joys and concerns brings us closer as a faith community. We invite you to share the milestones that are deeply felt as a part of your personal life. Express a gratitude, or perhaps offer an acknowledgement. But please be mindful and considerate of all who come to worship with us this morning. The collective flames of these candles embody all the joys and concerns which may have gone unspoken today, but are also felt deeply in this community. Our first reading is a collection of quotes by noteworthy people we found online at parade.com, which we think is the website of the magazine, former magazine. A series of quotes. If someone bases their happiness on major events like a great job, huge amounts of money, a flawlessly happy marriage, or a trip to Paris, that person isn't going to be happy much of the time. If, on the other hand, happiness depends on a good breakfast, flowers in the yard, a drink, or a nap, then we are more likely to live with quite a bit of happiness. Andy Rooney. If you want to be happy, set a goal that commands your thoughts, liberates your energy, and inspires your hopes. Andrew Carnegie. When one door of happiness closes, another opens. But often we look so long at the closed door that we do not see the one that has been opened for us. Helen Keller. Count your age by friends, not years. Count your life by smiles, not tears. John Lennon. And finally, those who are not looking for happiness are the most likely to find it, because those who are searching forget that the surest way to be happy is to seek happiness for others. Martin Luther King, Jr. Let us enter a place of peace and serenity where you are one with your spiritual being. Be at peace within your space where the absence of all that is temporal is its most cherished gift. Let us enter the stillness. Come into this room, way into this chair. Breathe into this body, the very body that will be you for better and for worse, in sickness and in health. Come into this day. Raise your gaze into this light, this one steadfast sun who watches over all growing beings, even you, even now. Come into this heart and break into the boundlessness of wild beauty, no beginning or ending in you, but flowing through like white water, reaching toward all that ever was and ever shall be. May it be so. Our second reading is an excerpt from an essay by Mary Oliver. Once, years ago, I emerged from the woods in the early morning at the end of a walk, and it was the most casual of moments. As I stepped from under the trees into the mild, pouring down sunlight, I experienced a sudden impact, a seizure of happiness. It was not the drowning sort of happiness, rather the floating sort. I made no struggle toward it. It was given. Time seemed to vanish. Urgency vanished. Any important difference between myself and all other things vanished. I knew that I belonged to the world and felt comfortably my own containment in the totality. I did not feel that I understood any mystery, not at all. Rather, that I could be happy and feel blessed within the perplexity. The summer morning, its gentleness, the sense of the great work being done, though the grass where I stood scarcely trembled. As I say, it was the most casual of moments, not mystical as the word is usually meant, for there was no vision or anything extraordinary at all, but only a sudden awareness of the citizenry of all things within one world. Leaves, dust, thrushes and finches, men and women. And yet it was a moment I have never forgotten, and upon which I have based many decisions in the years since. Today's anthem is Happiness by Clark Gessner and will be sung by River Kalner.
Happiness is two kinds of ice cream, finding your skate key, telling the time. Happiness is learning to whistle, tying your shoe for the very first time. Happiness is playing the drum in your own school band, and happiness is walking hand in hand. Happiness is 5 different crayons, knowing a secret, climbing a tree. Happiness is finding a nickel, catching a firefly, setting him free. Happiness is being alone every now and then, and happiness is coming home again. Happiness is morning and evening, daytime and nighttime too. For happiness is anyone and anything at all that's loved by
Thank you, River, for bringing us a lot of happiness. Thank you. Today's title is appropriately called Happiness Is, to be delivered by Jan Musarra. Jan Musarra, AKA Colner, has been an official UUer here in Cambria for 10 years. Jan is a singer, songwriter, musical director, author, teacher, wife, friend, mom, and grandmother. All are important to her, but the most important at the moment is being Nana. I give you Jan.
Thank you, Amy. And thank you, River. That was beautiful. Chloe was supposed to be with us, but she couldn't make it, but that's her artwork. So I thought that was appropriate for today's slide. Can I turn this light on? Okay. Ben, can you sit down, honey, please? Thank you. When asked what one wants most out of life, does anyone ever say, I really want to be miserable? Some might say, I want to be rich, I want a family, I want to travel, I want to be beautiful, handsome. Most of the time, after one or more of these proclamations, a person inevitably says, I want to be happy. It seems to be a universal aspiration, this desire to be happy, but we need to define our terms. What exactly is happy? Naming emotions is difficult. One source maintains that the number of emotions could be deemed endless, since the etymology for words describing how one feels is endless. However, for the purpose of this talk, I will call on 7 basic and recognizable emotions: anger, contempt, disgust, enjoyment, fear, sadness, surprise. Of these 7, only one is really a positive emotion. What does that tell us? The happy factor is embedded somewhere under the enjoyment category. Laurie Gardner, a well-respected life coach, author, teacher, spoke to us recently on this topic. The title of her talk was How to Be Happy When Life is Crappy. It's a great, great title. She gave us 4 guidelines for how not to be happy. First one, don't have too high of an expectation. Let go of control and open it to the universe. 2, don't try too hard. She called it desperation energy. This is emotionally and physically exhausting. She says there's a time to push and time to step back because it's hard to accept a gift if your fists are clenched. Don't compare yourself to others. One way to do that would be to stay off Facebook, because it seems like everyone else is having a great life, but we really don't know how those others are. Don't identify your happiness by trying to heal or fix others. For instance, don't do your kids' homework just to help out. The positive advice she gave was to rise when a pervasive sadness envelops you. Her instructions for how to do that were not clear. I reached out to her after the service and on email asking for clarity. She responded, intellectually rise, that is, seek and welcome other perspectives and views besides the one you're in. Emotionally rise, above your reactive emotions, to your deeper knowing and inner wisdom instead. Physically rise, above your body's exhaustion and pain. Spiritually rise, to your truest, best, or highest self that always operates from a place of love. I have 2 questions I'd like you to consider. The first one only you can answer, and that is, what or where is your happy place? Think about it. More on that later. We can try to determine the answer to the second question through epistemology. That's the theory of knowledge, which requires the presence of agreed upon landmarks and sources of common knowledge, something we seem to be missing in today's universe. And the second question is, how does this happiness factor or lack thereof reflect itself in the world and its inhabitants? Matthew Ricard is a Buddhist monk with a PhD in molecular genetics. He prefers the monk's life as opposed to the scientific one. Still, he allowed himself to be tested by a University of Wisconsin lab study, which discovered his brain produced pronounced levels of gamma waves, which are linked to learning, attention, and memory. They proclaimed him the world's happiest man. He proclaimed the title Balderdash. In an interview with the New York Times, he listed his 7 rules for a happy life. And as per a conversation with the Dalai Lama, the first one, he was the French translator for 6 years for the Dalai Lama. He said the number 1 rule given to him was to meditate. The Dalai Lama said, in the beginning, meditate on compassion. In the middle, meditate on compassion. In the end, meditate on compassion. End quote. The message is clear. And his second rule, amazingly so, is be compassionate. 3, when faced with sadness, channel that sadness into compassion, because sadness kindles compassion. As I like to tell my students, this is me, Jan, not Matthew talking, when they tell me they're nervous before a performance, I say, channel it into excitement, right? It's much more manageable. Ricard believes when you channel sadness into compassion and temper it with meditation, one has a sense of depth. Goodness knows we have enough to be sad about nowadays. So many terrible things happen around the world all the time, and the big problem is we hear about all of it. There don't seem to be any filters. Happiness does not mean you run around jumping for joy. It's more like a baseline. It's where you land after the ups and downs, after the joys and sorrows. 4, we must recognize that emotions change. With mindfulness, we learn to recognize them and when and where they're going to change so we can channel them properly. This is me again. Back to Lori Gardner and her talk. She asked us to think about a moment in our lives when we genuinely felt happy. A couple of us shared our thoughts afterwards. Both Andy and I felt it was with the birth of a child. I remember distinctly saying to Michael, my husband, after our son John was born, do you think we can keep it like this feeling? Can we make it last? We couldn't, unfortunately. But I was on to something and didn't even know it. I didn't know that I would read about this Buddhist monk 38 years later who propounded the same idea. He, Ricard, says, try to extend moments of unconditional love. Capture it, hold it, cultivate it. Try to be quiet with it for 10 minutes. And when it goes away, try to bring it back again. This is me again. I didn't know that was a thing. I was absolutely ignorant about that kind of power I and all of us might possess. Sometimes it feels like we're all driving around bumper cars. Let's try this. Shh, crash. That didn't work. Let me try it this way. Pff, no, maybe not. Sometimes you just want to get off the ride. I've negotiated my life with a series of ideas or life philosophies. One is listen to the universe, a concept I still use. When faced with a tough decision of what feels like insurmountable problems, that is my go-to phrase. And you can't listen to the universe very effectively when you're running around with your hair on fire. It requires a quiet internal place. So you find that place and listen. I'm reading, or maybe rereading, Winter of Our Discontent by John Steinbeck. The protagonist's happy place is an abandoned bunker-type storm drain accessible only from the ocean side. He calls it the place, a spot in which to wonder about things. A secret place, he says, where soul shivers can abate, where one can take stock of it. Some others might call it prayer, and maybe it would be the same thing. He continues, if I wanted to make a picture of it for myself, it would be a wet sheet, turning and flapping in a lovely wind and drying and sweetening the white. Steinbeck's beautiful words. His place is where he listens to the universe. And while it probably is not the universe at all speaking, when we go to that place, our place, we're able to hear something. Call it what you will. your own mind guiding yourself, our ancestors embedded in our DNA, which is epigenetics, God even, the angels. We draw upon a wealth of resources we might never be able to name. I extrapolate all this information from Ricard's rule number 5 again. Try to extend the moments of unconditional love. Capture it, hold it, cultivate it. Try to be quiet with it for 10 minutes. And when it goes away, try to bring it back. I'm going to skip to number 7 here because I want to save number 6. Number 7 is walk in nature. I don't think there is anyone here in Cambria who does not understand the benefits of walking in this environment. The sense of wonder and awe, joy and mystery. After my walk on the Fiscalini Ranch a few weeks ago, I listed the creatures I encountered. 1 resting great blue heron, 10 hungry turkey vultures, 6 soaring pelicans, 7 seagulls in pursuit, 8 ground squirrels, 1 gecko, which is really a lizard, 9 hauled up seals, and 3 snowy egrets, and a partridge in a pear tree. And a few days ago, we had an earthquake in the morning and a double rainbow in the evening. I took that picture from my deck. Everyone on the street, it was like a science fiction movie. Look, up in the sky, it's Superman, it's a bird, it's a whatever. Then in mid-September, we had a bird invasion. I took this picture, not that one, the next picture of the pelicans. It was a pelican party. Never seen anything like that. There were thousands. If you didn't see it, if you weren't here, it was thousands. And the next one was a picture of a turkey vulture surveying his prospects. How often do you see that? But not on that top of that. It was just like remarkable. In the evening, I was treated with this sunset. That's also from my deck. So I had the rainbows over here and the sunset over here. It was most remarkable. And does all of this make me happy? You bet it does. And every time I look at the pictures or remember them in my mind, I'm happy all over again. A good reason for our pictures. Now, number 6, I've been saving it so it can be savored. The 6th rule from the Dalai, not from the Dalai, yes, from the Dalai. Want happiness for others. That will enhance your own happiness. Number 6 is the key, I believe, to this whole philosophy, the spiritual component, the raison d'être. If you want happiness for others, you're an empath. You are more likely to be selfless. The world is more likely to be a better place for your existence. I'd like to read an abstract, which can be a little boring, but I'll try not to make it too boring, published in the National Library of Medicine in February 2021. The author is psychologist Michael Dambrun. He says, the main objective of this research was to test the central assumptions from the self-centeredness, selfless happiness model. According to this model, while self-centered psychological functioning induces fluctuating happiness, authentic, durable happiness results from selflessness. Distinct mediating processes are supposed to account for these relationships, afflictive effects like anger, fear, jealousy, frustration, in the case of the former, and both emotional stability and feelings of harmony in the case of the latter. We tested these hypotheses in 2 studies based on heterogeneous samples of citizens. They used 547 people. Factor analyses revealed that self-centeredness, assessed through egocentricism and materialism, and selflessness, assessed through self-transcendence and connectedness to others, were 2 distinct psychological constructs. Second, while self-centeredness was positively and significantly related to fluctuating happiness, selflessness was positively and significantly related to authentic, durable happiness. Finally, distinct psychological processes mediated these relationships. On one hand, the relationship between self-centeredness and fluctuating happiness was fully mediated by afflictive effects. On the other hand, emotional stability and the feeling of being in harmony partially mediated the relation between selflessness and authentic, durable happiness. So, what conclusion can we draw from this abstract without reading the complete study, which was like 100 pages? I wasn't about to read that. My conclusion is, if we're to achieve sustainable happiness, we must learn to be selfless, along the lines of, ask not what your country can do for you, ask what you can do for your country. Do you know who said that? Yes, John F. Kennedy. You'll learn later. We can substitute a dozen different words and still achieve the same result. Ask not what your family, your city, your church, your club, your school, your world can do for you, and instead what you can do. As a member of the worship committee, I am cognizant of the importance of a spiritual message or quality of our services. We don't want to be preached to or sermonized or proselytized. So my question might be, who cares? You're not happy, not my problem. And the larger question, what does it matter in the larger scheme of things? Is the world a better place if we're happy? Let me go back to Michael Dambrun's abstract. Authentic, durable happiness results from selflessness. I give you a syllogism. Selfless people are happy. You are not selfless. Therefore, you are not happy. That's an incorrect syllogism. To be correct, it would have to read, only selfless people are happy. I don't have the research to back that up, but I'll go with this incomplete or mostly correct syllogism. The conclusion would be, if you are selfless, you have a better chance of being happy than if you are self-centered. And as a bonus, selflessness radiates outward. It's like that PSA on television where one person does a good deed and what follows is a chain reaction of good deeds. I love that commercial. Another takeaway would be sadness breeds compassion. It's impossible to process all the sadness we hear about every day. The war in Ukraine and now the Israeli conflict, the fire in Maui, the immigrants seeking a better life, childhood hunger and poverty, homelessness, on and on and on. Pick one cause closest to your heart. I know Marianne has picked Maui. Pledge to work on that front for good. Show compassion in your own special way. Write letters, gather clothing with Kat, man a food bank, become a big brother or sister. Want happiness for others, no matter how hard it is sometimes. See if it changes you. Let's conclude by going back to our happy places. I believe mine is sitting at my piano, whether I'm writing a song, arranging music, learning a new piece, singing, or practicing. This is my place, and I've tried to share my music and my grandchildren with the world. Similar to my happy place, one of my sons sees his in the faces and words of people who enjoy his music. My niece in Cleveland, who I think is with us today, owns a shop called Pop Culture Clee. She creates and sells all kinds of popsicles. Her happy place is her industrial kitchen where she's a creator of all good things. She shared a picture on Facebook the other day of her opening her closed shop to a mother and her Down syndrome daughter. My niece spent an hour with this little girl, teaching her to make ice cream. She also sells t-shirts designed by one of her customers. That's Cole, an 11-year-old boy who died recently from a rare form of blood cancer. He designed that popsicle t-shirt, which are for sale for $30 each. The money goes to childhood cancer research. The path to happiness is not having all the money in the world, or the nicest clothes, or even the best job. The road to happiness appears to be selflessness and compassion. And that's something we all have the potential to achieve. This has just been a friendly reminder. Thank you.
Thank you, Jan. How fortunate we are to have so much talent and beauty amongst this community. The morning offering will now be given and received. Please remember we are a self-sustaining congregation and provide all financial resources for our many ministries. We recognize the spiritual value of generosity and invite you to participate. If you are viewing this service remotely, please use one of the methods shown on the screen. Thank you. And when all else fails, just look for the Beatles, right? Our thanks for all gifts given and received for the work of this community. Please stand in body or spirit and sing our closing hymn, Come Sing a Song with Me, number 346.
Song with me, come sing a song with me, come sing a song with me, that I might know your mind, and I'll bring you hope when hope is hard to find, and I'll bring a song of love and a rose in the winter time. Come dream a dream with me. Come dream a dream with me. Come dream a dream with me, that I might know your mind. And I'll bring you hope when hope is hard to find. And I'll bring a song of love and a rose in the winter time.
As we prepare to extinguish the chalice, let us recite the valediction. The flame of this chalice will no longer burn today, but the light of the flame within our hearts continues to shine brightly, illuminating the love felt in our community. Please extinguish your chalice at home now. Now, let's form a circle and join hands. Jan will deliver the final words. Do you need the thing?
River. No, yeah, there you go. Robert. Oh, wait a minute. If you want happiness for an hour, take a nap. If you want happiness for a day, go fishing. If you want happiness for a year, inherit a fortune. If you want happiness for a lifetime, help someone else. Chinese proverb. Go in peace. You're done.